What's up? It's Susie from Hey Grill Hey, and today I'm going to introduce you to the chuck eye steak, one of my favorite, more affordable, underrated cuts of steak that you can get at the butcher counter, plus a very simple and delicious way of marinating a steak that'll give you epic, juicy results just like this. Let's do it. So first up, I need to address the elephant in the room, and this is the fact that we are marinating steak. Anytime I even whiff, hint, mention, idealize about potentially marinating steak, my comment section lights up with, a good steak only needs salt and pepper. And that may be true. However, there are a lot of really amazing steaks that actually benefit from having a marinade. Both the time and tenderization that happens in the marinade and that deep flavor infusion in especially leaner cuts of steak or things that might be a little bit more tough. So now that we've got that out of the way, I guess you can still leave me a comment about how good steak only needs salt and pepper, but just acknowledge that I see you. I know you. I know that you're out there and that you only want salt and pepper, and that's fine. This is for everybody else. Todd wants salt and pepper. The rest of us can enjoy flavor occasionally. It's fine. With that said, let's talk about the steak that we're cooking today. We are using chuck eye steaks. This is a little secret money saver in the meat department, and if your butcher carries them, you are lucky and in for a treat. Chuck eye steaks come from the chuck end of the rib eye roast, so it's essentially a rib eye, boneless, at a fraction of the cost. These are certified Angus beef, beautiful marbling. They are $7.49 a pound. And a lot of times we're seeing those high-end ribeyes clock in anywhere between 15 and 20, so about half the price. This was a $5.32 steak. So you're getting a lot of good flavor, great texture, good marbling at a really affordable price. Other steaks that work great for marinating would be your leaner cuts like a sirloin. Those usually clock in pretty affordable as well. Top round steaks, sometimes called a London broil, or flank steaks work really great in a marinade as well. Let's get to making this marinade. It is very, very simple. Not a ton of ingredients, but pretty well packed with flavor and everything that a good marinade needs to really push the flavor of the meat through. Every good marinade has the same 5 components. What those are can actually be mixed up to create really unique flavors, but once you have the base of making a marinade and what it is, you can have a lot of fun. So the first thing you're gonna need is a fat. I like to use olive oil. It gives you a really good flavor, but you can use whatever cooking oil you have at home. We're gonna start with a ½ cup. The next thing you need in your marinade is an acid. I'm using red wine vinegar, ½ cup. To balance out the acidity and the fat, you need something sweet. I'm using honey, a ½ cup, but again, this is a swap that you can make with the vinegar. You could do balsamic or white wine vinegar. With the sweet element, you could do honey, you could do maple, you could do just a little bit of sugar. This marinade does pull a little bit sweet, so you can reduce the amount of sugar here, but I like the balance it creates with the fattiness of the steak. Plus, it gives me a really good sear on the outside as it starts to caramelize on the grill. Next, you need your salt. Every good marinade needs salt. I'm gonna have about 1.5 teaspoons of just ground kosher salt and then 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper. The last thing you need are your aromatics, your umami bringers. So the black pepper counts. I'm also gonna use about 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. I'm gonna use some thyme and some fresh garlic. You can swap out for whatever herbs you love to make the flavor profile that you're going for. Now, thyme with beef is my absolute favorite. I'm just gonna kind of bruise the leaves a little bit to release some of those oils. I'm not gonna pull each leaf off. I just want that herby essence in the marinade itself. My favorite way to do garlic in basically anything is with a microplane. Instead of chopping, just take your garlic clove, take your microplane, and grate it right into your marinade. All right, we wanna mix all of our marinade ingredients together so they're well incorporated. We don't have any big chunks of honey or anything like that. Yeah, that smells amazing. Nothing in there is going to be so strong that it overpowers the steak itself. We'll still have really beautiful, yummy, steaky flavor, but it'll be tender and just that extra hint of yumminess that makes you want to keep going back for more. We're going to get our steaks in the marinade. We're going to let them go for about 4 to 8 hours. I don't think they need too much more than 8 hours, so instead of letting these go overnight, I would start them in the morning if you're going to cook these steaks for dinner. These eye steaks look awesome. Now, they're not going to be as uniform or pretty as you see with the actual ribeye, but the flavor is going to be on point. The marbling is lovely, and maybe because it's not so pretty, we're going to save about 50% on each of these steaks than what we would pay for a ribeye. One of my favorite bargain meats. Steaks are in. Close the bag and press out the excess air. That way we've got the marinade as close to the meat itself as possible. And then give it a massage to distribute that marinade evenly across the surface area of each of those steaks. Now, I only had 3 steaks, but this amount of marinade would probably easily cover 4. All right, steaks are in the marinade. We're gonna pop these in the fridge for the next several hours. Then we're gonna fire up some charcoal. Our marinated steaks have come out of the refrigerator. You can see the steaks have even changed color a little bit because of what's in the marinade. That's great. That means it's working. We're ready to get these on the grill. I'm cooking these on the Kamado today, but you can use whatever grill you've got at home that you can set for 2-zone heat. So we're gonna cook these low and slow to start and then finish with a high heat sear at the end. But you can do that on a regular charcoal grill, you can do that on a gas grill, you can do that on a pellet grill, whatever you've got in your own backyard. This is about 225. We're gonna let these go in there for just a little while until, I don't know, we'll probably take these up to about 125. Take them off the grill, crank up the temperature as high as we can get it, and then give them a final sear right at the end. Our steaks have been on just over a half an hour. And again, we're looking for a target temperature close to where we want our finished temperature to be, but under it so that we can get this final sear, crispy, crunchy texture on the outside at the end. So I'm hoping these are kind of between like 115 and 125. Oh, 119. There we go. 118. I'm happy with that. I'm gonna pull these off, let them just kind of hang out for a minute and crank the temperature up on the grill so we can get that nice hot final sear. About 3 minutes and this grill is rip-roaring up about 600 degrees and we're ready for the sear. This is probably only gonna take a minute or 2 before I wanna flip it, so I'm just gonna keep an eye on these. I'll flip these, you ready? Yes! Gorgeous! They're gorgeous. Yes. You want a shot? Okay. Was just about a minute and a half per side. My steaks are clocking at a perfect medium rare between 130 and 135. And the sear marks on here are ridiculous. Partially from the high heat of the grill, but also because that little bit of honey that we had in the marinade itself gave us that beautiful caramelization on the outside. So I'm gonna let these beauties rest for the next couple of minutes and we'll be ready to slice them up and give them a try. Steaks are rested. Now I just like to slice these kind of thin the same way that I would slice up a ribeye steak, just into individual pieces, and then people can kind of grab as much as they want off the steak itself. But look at the cross section of this slice. It's got all the same striations and marbling as a ribeye. It's gonna have really similar flavor profile. We're gonna get that beautiful crunchy crust and all of that flavor from the marinade. That is a good looking steak right there. And this was $5. This was a $5 piece of meat. It's gonna eat like a $25 piece of meat. Okay, this looks like the right piece for me. That's a really good steak. It's tender, it's beefy. The marinade itself doesn't overwhelm the flavor of the meat. It just accentuates what's already there. You get a little bit of the salt, a little bit of the thyme, a little bit of a tanginess from the vinegar, but none of it's overwhelming anything else. That is absolutely beautiful. Super simple cook, affordable cut. If you haven't tried a chuck eye steak, let this be your call to action. Go find one at your butcher counter. If they don't have it out, ask somebody, because your butcher probably knows about it already and they're just keeping the secret from you. I hope this one little tip can help you make better barbecue at home in your own backyard so you can feed the people you love and become a backyard barbecue hero. We'll see you guys next time.
Hi.
Oh my gosh. I was real focused on that steak. You scared me. That was a good piece. It's yummy. It's got good texture, but it's still tender.